I remember giving someone some MDMA, and he's like, "Have you ever struggled with anxiety?" And I laughed at him. I was like, "What fucking planet are you living on?" Like, probably should give him more though. High school is tough, but I can start. Like my childhood, I had a lot of people surrounded me. It really, like, I never was babysat. My parents were older. I was never babysat, but there was always family around. And I was always more talkative than my sister. I would speak for her sometimes. I was just like, she looked up to me as a bigger brother even though we're twins. She didn't have the confidence. And I just noticed, like, I was more anxious, she was more depressed. I remember one time we were at Baskin Robbins, and the ice cream guy, he was like, "Oh, these are your grandkids?" And I was like, "No." And he said great grandparents before he said parents. And I had shame about that.
About your dad doing it on all this?
And then having anger.
Why was that shameful?
Because it was just, like, kind of embarrassing.
Okay.
Felt like unusual.
You ever feel like you got over that?
Yeah, but it took years and years. And it took me until my 20s. After he was gone. And just not feeling mad enough because my dad was so, even in his 60s, just hyper, in Mexican culture they call it machismo. But my dad, he was not I don't think my dad would he would call himself Mexican, but he wouldn't be like, he was more American than Mexican. I just remember, like, even playing Barbie dolls with my twin sister. Feeling a sense of like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this or something. I did stage crew in high school. I could use a drill. I can use a fucking wrench. I can,
Yeah, but those things aren't good enough.
I know. That's a question. There's a song lyric I like. It's coolness is having courage to do what's right. I think that's what makes you not even masculine. My mom's brother died of heroin addiction when she gave the money finally to him from her mom dying. And he died that day. She saw so much addiction, so much violence. Like, how could you not? Sexual, all types of violence, all types of trauma, struggle. And she always wanted to be white. That's a colonial mindset that infects. This is America. Christopher Columbus discovered this. Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, fucking right. She was really close with her dad, obviously. And then her mom, she was okay with her mom, probably would be considered depressed. She would just stay at home and smoke cigarettes. And she would antagonize, apparently, my grandfather when he was drinking. And she wouldn't go out much. My mom she's 80 or 79 right now. My mom could be a great grandmother, technically. It was an advantage because they were tutoring us, essentially. My dad was retired by the time I was born. He worked at MGM Studios. I mean, they spent thousands for in vitro.
And when did you find out?
When I was 23. Oh. Well, me and my twin also had our suspicions. Okay. But then there was like, oh, there are people in our family on my mom's side that have freckles and are fair-skinned. I don't know. It was very subtle. People all talk about, like, the twin telepathic connection. We were close, but it wasn't like we weren't our own people. And I think we both sought to question things. We were just hanging out, per usual, drinking, smoking weed, neighborhood friend. And when he was just talking shit, he was like, "You're not Mexican." I was like, "I'll show you my ethnic breakdown." I hadn't logged in a few months, and someone was listed as my father. He's like, "This isn't real." I'm like, "This is the sister of the founder of YouTube that founded this company. This is real genetic science." And he included his son on there, so obviously he told them. It's almost like derealization. Like, you can't even believe, like, it's a mind fuck. It's an identity crisis on such a deep level because I wanted to be my dad's son. But now I see it as a gift rather than like a bummer. And then, like, you know, my Nina, my godmother, being my biological mother, that means who I was just on the phone with, Melanie. It's my siska. Like, but I was sleeping 4 hours a night. Time I tried drinking alcohol, drinking and weed, it was like 1,000-pound gorilla lifted off my back. Literally. It was like I could have a regular high school experience.
And did you?
In a way.
Your drugs and alcohol?
In a way. I smoked too much weed. It started off with once a week, twice a week, and then daily by my senior year. I asked people for acid the first day I got to Davis. They're like, what the fuck? I mean, I remember freshman year, I wrote for the newspaper at Davis, and I was design editor of the yearbook my senior year at Loyola, and I wrote for the newspaper in the arts and culture section, and that was cool. And I applied to be in Camp Kesem, which is a summer camp for kids whose parents have cancer, because my dad died of pancreatic cancer, and I couldn't do it my first year. Like, I was both like, I couldn't handle not being stoned, but just facing all that pain that I had held on to so long. And my friend Scott, Chalupa of the camp, he was in it. And then sophomore year we did it, and it was wonderful. We had an all-boys squad. And I remember him telling me in a cabin chat, like, I helped him learn to be vulnerable. And I was open about going to therapy and stuff with him. And I think he killed himself on his dad's birthday. What would have been my junior year. And my freshman, sophomore year were magical at Davis. It was probably the two best years of my life. Just biking around, having friends everywhere. I can go on the quad of a 30,000 student campus and see someone I knew every time. It was living the dream. I decided to go to rehab my sophomore year for weed. And I got prescribed I went to rehab. I went to outpatient before that. It was like my senior year of high school. I stopped weed for a week, and I got put on Xanax. So I think that started it. I didn't know how addicting it was. Addictive or addicting. And I had such big anxiety my senior year, it wouldn't even quell it. And of course, your brain's gonna like Xanax if you're anxious. It just gave me samples. He's an old doctor. He's like, I mean, I've done everything. I've done drugs people haven't even heard of. I was getting this research chemical that's like acid that can kill you. They say if it's a bitter, it's a spitter. I think psychedelics should be used ritualistically. That's why people have bad trips. And my first time on acid, I was like freed from this mortal coil. I came back and I was disgusted. I was like, I have to be human again. I was just God. I withdrew 3 different times, and I could have graduated. I went to rehab. I got dropped from my classes. I was with a girlfriend who was more into me than I was into her. I did her a favor by breaking up with her, and I got dropped from my classes that fall semester, and I lost touch with Camp Kesem and my friend Scott that died. I started getting back into it. 2 weeks later, he kills himself. And then I went crazy. I wasn't even conscious on my 21st birthday. I was not even conscious. In between mental hospital stays, the only time I've ever been in a mental hospital. I remember giving someone some MDMA, and he's like, "Have you ever struggled with anxiety?" And I laughed at him. I was like, "What fucking planet are you living on?" Like, probably should have given more though. I'm serious. I know 30 people have died from fentanyl or heroin or drugs and alcohol. I couldn't even count. Ultimately, I have to accept that's their life. I can tell them, you can at least lead a horse to water, but you can't get him to drink. It's not my responsibility, ultimately. And I think being my brother's keeper, I have to carry on the legacy of those that have died. I still talk to my friends' moms that have died, my closest friends. If I could, I'd give a piece of my liver to my friend that needs a transplant. That's who I am, and I feel misunderstood still. Being labeled as an addict, it was imposed on me. Or gay. Or whatever. I define my life. I don't believe in labels. You want to label shit? Go do it. But does that define someone's soul? Can you use words to define somebody? Like, what's the point of fucking re-insisting you're a fucking addict or alcoholic at a 12-step meeting? What's the point? Is this something to be proud of? Well, yeah, if you live. But why do people just get stuck going to meetings and then they 13-step and fuck a newcomer? Is that recovery? No, they're scumbags running fake sober livings, making a fortune off it. That's their addiction. Money, greed. I envision a moneyless society. And I think it's coming soon. And that's another thing. Feeling like this is a thing, like I'm spoiled or I was freaking coddled or some bullshit. I got a full scholarship to Loyola by the time I was a senior. $18,000 a year. I got an A+ in scripture my freshman year. White boys would be like, how'd you do that? See, I'm white, but I don't feel white anymore. Oscar, my friend, he went to Yale. You think he wasn't bullied by the rich white kids? First job out of Yale was Starbucks. He was invited to a secret society. He was in a Latin fraternity. John Kerry and George W. Bush were in the same secret society at Yale, and they were both running for president. I wear skulls and bones. That's what MIA said. That was in a secret society. Every president's been a war criminal. They should all be charged with crimes against humanity. What's George W. Bush doing right now? Probably painting a picture of fucking the Dalai Lama. No, that's literally what he's doing. I just saw it. And his grandfather, Prescott Bush, and his dad was the director of the CIA. I wear skulls and bones, sticks and stones and weed and bombs.
Tell me about that girl from the smoke shop.
So, that smoke shop was there since I remember when it first opened. I just knew her for a few years. Dawn helped. And we hooked up. And it was like a Venus flytrap, you know? I didn't know how serious it was with her, but I had just helped a friend from the rehab I was at, whose girl jumped from the 3rd floor and died. And he was on fentanyl and meth. First time I tried fentanyl was with him. I was on meth, so it didn't even. He was like, "Don't worry about overdosing." I didn't feel it. She gives me the pipe after we hang out and made love, and she was on a bender. She's buying vodka, we're doing coke, and she was asking every single person at the smoke shop that was buying a pipe. They had it. She was already using it, and meth. And she handed me the pipe, and it didn't have meth. Instantly out. I come to. First thing she said is, "Did you take it?" Like, bitch, I'm never trying that again. She texts me goodnight and she dies. Her mom's pretending to be her.
Didn't she die in the car with you?
She died later that night at her dad's place, Mar Vista. And then her mom tried to frame me. And then I ran into her sister by serendipity. I knew it was her sister. And Omar was like, no. Go talk to her. I went to the bodega. She walks in. My friend's there. She says hi to me. And I pointed at her. And I approach her. At first, she's interrogating me. You know? Like it's a Hague. And then she understands. Like she didn't know how to do it, honestly. You don't smoke that shit with no tolerance. She gave me that and could have killed me. I probably still have some vision hearing from that. Issues, I mean, like. And yeah, she's buried where my family's buried in Santa Monica at Woodlawn Cemetery. I haven't seen her gravestone, but I see family there. And I didn't acknowledge how much that fucked me up. You know, survivor's guilt. And I promised the sister I'd carry her legacy on. Because I don't think anyone should be labeled as just an addict. There's so much more to a person. It's like I'm surprised when random people trust me. Or friends. Because my mom doesn't fully trust me from shit that happened years ago. That she just transferred onto me. Honestly. That's like the truth. Honestly. Like she thinks her opinion is the truth. Like, sometimes it feels like the audacity. The Carl Jung quote. Like the unacknowledged stuff a parent faces is going to be passed down. It's inevitable. And my dad grew up with a dad too. And his 2 sons from the alcoholic wife who died at the beach both turned out fucked up, and he tried saving them even in their 40s and 50s. Bail them out of jail and shit. I have to take a break.
So you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I'll be 35. I think it'd be easier to be president than fucking handle this city. You know, Rick Caruso went to my high school. Or no, his son was the grade below mine.
So in 5 years, you see yourself being president?
I could be president right now. A multi-millionaire with a certified B corporation. Hopefully with a wife. Hopefully living as a digital nomad and having my Luxembourgian citizenship through my biological father. God willing. Hopefully in a fucking Ferrari.
A red one.
Yep. And then a Porsche Carrera. And then a Toyota 4Runner. My neck, my wrist, my car, my crib. A fucking sustainable, moneyless society. With world peace.
That's your dream in life?
Yeah. Pray for my mom. Pray for my sister. Don't pray for me. I can handle it. I'll take all the smoke.
Any passions?
Drugs. Love, music, creation. The artist's job is to disturb the comfortable and comfort that's disturbed. I want to learn languages. I want to learn Sanskrit fluently. Tat Ananda, Tat Pharmacy. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Mani Padme Hum. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaji Hanumandas. I had to list my top 5 favorite films, it would be the one I'm gonna make, and then the other one I'm gonna make, and then Cloud Atlas, Goodfellas, because with AI, it's gonna be like fucking based on your freaking algorithm and shit. It's gonna be insane. You can watch a movie you want, like choose your player type shit. But I want to make shit that preserves, and I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to be preserved because things are moving too fast, and that's why I'm grateful for growing up with older family and parents. I have this. These are photos, nearly 100. These are 100-year-old photos. These are 100-year-old photos.
We'll take pictures of them in a minute.
Yeah. My Aunt Mary, I wish I could have had the pleasure of eating one of her meals. Even though I don't eat pork anymore. So you gotta make that to make really good pinto beans. You need the ham hock.
Words of wisdom before we wrap it up.
Just keep swimming. Upstream or downstream. And then don't go towards the light when you die. And birds aren't real. And God is bliss and you are God.
If you could say one thing to your younger self right now, what would it be? Little Polly.
Believe in yourself. You're it. Tag. Like, don't carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Then I'm in love with everything. I just don't want to stray too far from there. Mike with MIC, because I'm a mycologist. And recipe Skizzle, my brother. I fell in love in San Francisco. That's okay. I was born in LA. I fell in love in a field. That's okay. Jerry Garcia. I'm a couple standard deviations ahead. If you measured my intelligence quotient, I think I know how to regulate my emotions. That's okay. Everybody is gay. That's one for Kurt Cobain, bro.